Well, I thought it was a really disappointing England performance. Same old England, really. I think the problem started with the starting 11 that Gareth Southgate picked. The side just looked totally unbalanced. That starting 11 again, the same starting 11 as the Serbia game, had 3 right backs in it and no recognized left backs at all. And I think we really need to start talking now about ending the Trent Alexander-Arnold experiment. It just does not work having him in midfield next to Declan Rice. Yes, he's a brilliant player, but I don't think he's a central midfield player yet at this level. He's not what England need in the center of midfield. I thought England were actually lucky not to lose this game because in the second half Denmark were giving as good as they were getting. But I think their manager may have told them to keep shooting from long range. I don't know how many people are aware, but a new ball is being used in this tournament, and Harry Kane was telling us a few days ago that the ball favors strikers and forwards rather than goalkeepers. I think it's lighter. It moves more, and that was a real feature of Denmark's game. So we're back where we are again, where we've been again so many times talking about a disappointing England performance when we should have been talking about England winning their first 2 Euro games in a row. That had never happened before. They could have done that today, and also if they'd won, they would have been into the knockout stages already. They would have been guaranteed finishing first. It would have meant that against Slovenia, but Gareth Southgate could ring the changes, but I think now there is a feeling that it's back to the drawing board for Gareth Southgate because he's going to face a lot of criticism because the bottom line is England weren't good enough today here in Frankfurt. Harvey, we went 1-on up against Serbia and England took their foot off the gas. It seemed that similar happened tonight as well. Just from what you saw, could you see a noticeable difference from the way England played before they'd gone 1 up and after? I think they started really well. They scored a good goal. Kyle Walker, excellent, really tenacious, winning the ball on the right, putting the cross in okay. It took a couple of deflections. Harry Kane was there. England got the perfect start. Kane scored his, 64th goal for England, his 47th goal of the season, but then he started to go wrong again. You could feel that England was sitting back. They were playing too deep. Their midfielders weren't getting to the ball quickly enough. They were giving Denmark too much room, and it's a feature of tournament football at this level is when you score, the opposition are going to respond, and it's up to you to respond to their response as well. And we haven't been seeing that from England, because when they score, they're not pushing on trying to get the second goal. They're being too passive. I'm not sure if that is the fault of the players or that is the fault of the side that Gareth Southgate has picked because it's unbalanced. England are very good down the right. Walker, Saka, that's where the goal came from. They're unbalanced, disjointed down the left. Kieran Trippier, he's a great player. He's a great right back, but the balance isn't quite right with having him as the left back, and the balance isn't quite right with having Phil Foden on the left either, and that's where Denmark's goal came from. It came from an England throw-in. Harry Kane was deep in his own half. He was being criticized for playing too far forward against Serbia. It looked like he was drifting in, coming back, trying to get involved in the play when he didn't really need to. He gave the ball away, and then we saw the England midfield too late to close down Morten Helmand and his strike, good strike, beat Jordan Pickford, and that was the goal that Denmark deserved, and Denmark could have won the game. They had chances to win the game as well. So I think England will have to consider themselves pretty lucky to be leaving here with a draw because they could have lost easily, and they're pretty lucky to still be top of the group because that's 2 performances that haven't been great, and this performance I think was worse than our performance against Serbia because at least against Serbia the first half was very good. Kaveh, one of the things often leveled at Gareth Southgate is that he perhaps doesn't make the changes during the match when he should. And when he does make the changes, perhaps they're not the right changes. So we saw the likes of Conor Gallagher come on in the second half, Jarrod Bowen, Ollie Watkins and Eberezi. What did you make of their introduction? Do you think that England's bench was impressive tonight? I think first of all Gareth Southgate was bold. He didn't hang around, he made substitutions quickly. I'm sure he's aware of the fact that he's been criticised in the past for not making substitutions quickly enough. He was very bold, bold or foolhardy. You make your mind up because he took off 3 of his best players with 20 minutes to go in Foden, Kane and Saka. I think the crucial change was the one he made earlier after 53 minutes. Really early in the second half, he decided to take Trent Alexander-Arnold off and bring on Conor Gallagher, and that gave the side a better balance. And they looked much more settled, but I think still Denmark scented that they could go on and get the winner. I think Kane down the left, Jarrod Bowen was down the right, and Ollie Watkins I thought made a difference when he came on because he gave the Danish centre-backs the back 3 something to think about. With Harry Kane on the pitch and Jude Bellingham behind him, they didn't have to worry about somebody running in behind them. When Watkins came on, that is something that they had to worry about. You could see them moving further back and giving England a little bit more space. So certainly Gareth Southgate has to make changes because I don't think he can pick that starting 11 again. I suppose you can give him some credit for recognizing that things were going wrong and making changes, but I could hear inside that stadium, look, this game started off as a celebration. England fans had had a great day in Frankfurt. They were in really good voice. Everybody was having a good time. The perfect start with that Harry Kane goal, but towards the end of the game, the mood had totally changed. I could hear pockets of England fans criticizing some of the players and criticizing Gareth Southgate as well. It's up to them now to respond against Slovenia.